This is T Minus Today. I'm your host Dave, and we need to talk about mid-range builds. So I've been wanting to talk about this for some time. Let's jump over to my screen. I threw up a PC part picker here, and we're going to be going over what components I would put into a build that's around $600 to $650 for the tower. Now, you're going to need a keyboard and a mouse and a monitor on top of that, but this is a great build, for 1080p gaming. Even maybe a little 1440p gaming if you want to do something, if you want to do 60 hertz. But right now is a great time to build. We are in August of 2019, and I'm going to be doing these builds quite often because the scene changes rapidly. So RAM is on its way down. We have CPUs are quite a bit cheaper, and so are graphics cards, which is awesome. Great time to build a killer machine for not that much money. So let's get into it. So first off, we're going to be building an AMD build. Now, the reason we're going with AMD is because they've got so much more bang for their buck. All the way up to the high end, they're doing really well, and you should probably stick with an AMD Ryzen, in my opinion, if you're going to do anything else other than gaming. Even if you're just gaming, it's so cheap to get into a second generation Ryzen, which is what this build is all about. So yes, there is a third generation Ryzen. Yes, they are faster, but they come at a cost. So we are going to go with the AMD Ryzen 5. So like I said, our budget's around $600. We're going to go with an AMD Ryzen 5 2600. 6-core, 12-thread processor that kicks butt. Check it out. Boom, $133 on Amazon. We're going to be getting most of our parts from Amazon, and you might be able to get all of them from Amazon. I have a couple here from Newegg. I'm not sure what the price is on Amazon. So let's just go through it. We got our processor, which is very cheap. Pick up an ASRock motherboard. Now, we don't need, you have different needs from your motherboard, like if you want a USB-C port, or if you want an M.2 slot that does NVMe that does not use two of the SATA slots. You may have to do some digging. But these smaller boards, if they have an NVMe slot, let's just take a look at this one, see what it has. So we'll jump on Newegg. Newegg generally has, sometimes the descriptions on Amazon don't tell you everything about it. And honestly, you might want to go to the manufacturer to talk about it. So let's just jump over to specifications here. So it's got 2 memory slots. We're just going to fill 2 memory slots with 16 gigs of RAM. So we'll be maxing out our RAM on this board. It has one PCI Express slot, 2.0. Has a PCI Express 3.0 x16. So that's going to be the slot that you put the graphics card in. You can do dual channel. It does have an M.2 slot. M.2 Ultra supports up to 2280. Right? Ultra M.2 socket, NVIDIA M.2 PCIe, great. Gen 3 X4, 32 gigabits per second. That's perfect. Everything we need to really get rocking. So let's get back over to the build. So we've got that. We do not need a cooler because the CPU comes with a cooler. For memory, we're going to go with some 3000 series memory. We just went with some Crucial Ballistics stuff. You can kind of go, there's only 3 memory manufacturers right now. I think it's Hynix, Micron, and Samsung? I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But there's not a lot of memory manufacturers. Everything else is just people rebranding it and selling you the same dies. So for storage, we went with an Intel 660p series, 1 terabyte M.2 NVMe. You gotta have some solid state storage, please. 512 gig is fine if you want to step down a little bit, get a little cheaper. I think this comes in quite a few flavors. and you don't have to get an Intel. You can get kind of whatever you want. Just make sure it's an NVMe drive, and make sure your motherboard can support NVMe 32 gigabits per second, and you should be fine. Then this is really great. Get an MSI Radeon RX 580, 8 gigs for $160. I think there is a $30 rebate in there, $20 rebate in there. So $20 rebate, so it's really $180. You could step down to a 570, and that would be fine too. Either way, you're getting a pretty powerful PC for the price. And then we have a 500 watt power supply. Thermaltake's not my favorite. You might want to shop around. A lot of times I buy recertified stuff. If you could find a recertified power supply, a lot of times they come around for around $20. Just got to shop. You can check out EVGA B stock. Sometimes they have some really great prices there on their 450 watt and 500 watt power supplies. And yeah, it's great. Anyway, that is the build. But but Dave, what about like a key? Well, you can go over here on eBay and just type in Windows 10 Pro key, and you can find a ton of keys. These are OEM keys, so you cannot change your motherboard. If you change your motherboard with an OEM key, it probably will not work anymore. But you can pick them up for as low as like $1.80. And my friend just did this a few days ago. Worked like a charm. Got his key in 3 hours. Everything worked out fine. So if you want a cheap Windows 10 Pro key, head over to eBay. Use your PayPal account. Buy a Windows 10 Pro key for $2 to $5 to $10. It's not expensive. I think it's better than going to like Kinguin or any other place for a key that, I mean, you could go to Kinguin. I can't remember if it's like .net. I think it's .net. Yeah, so you can go to Kinguin.net, and they have like Windows 10 keys, right? Professional OEM key for $30. Like, if this would actually work, it's not working. This site does not. Okay, there you go. It's just slow. Okay, $30. You know, or you could just pick it up from eBay. You know, just jump onto eBay.com, type in Windows 10 key. Not hard. Boom. $4.20. First one, $3.96. Just scroll down until you find one that you're like, huh. Look. You know, find one that has a ton of ratings. This one has 2,700 sold. Sure, that's probably fine. Let's grab one of these, right? It's sponsored. 99.9% positive feedback. Grab that one. $4. It's better than $200 to get these keys. Anyway, enough about that. The case, honestly, you can get the cheapest, nastiest case you can possibly find, or go to a secondhand store, pick up a case there for $5, and you can just put it together there. The cool thing about newer cases is that they support 120 and 140 millimeter fans. Some of the older cases only have 80 millimeter fan slots, so be careful of that if you're getting an older case. Otherwise, like the ATX size, like the size of your or mini or micro ATX is what we're going with here with this build. It's a micro ATX case and a micro ATX motherboard. I have built in the DIY PC F2 case before. It's a little flimsy until you get your power supply in there. And even then, like, it's cheaply made. But it comes with 2 fans, and it's a lot of case for the price. So I would definitely go with something like that. Otherwise, yeah, there's a $600. It's a killer build. It works really well. It runs better than mine. I have a GTX 970, and my brother purchased an RX 570, 4 gigabytes, the little brother to this card, and it was beating my GTX 970 SC from EVGA that I bought refurbished handily in every test we ran. So there's that. So, and I run just about everything I want. I mean, maybe not max settings, but I can run everything on high settings at 1080p. I have a high refresh rate monitor, so yeah, I can run older games at high refresh rate. Otherwise, not so much. Anyway, this is my favorite type of build to do. Is something that is cost effective and it just works. This will just work for you. It comes with 16 gigs of RAM and under $600. It's hard to beat. I really suggest that you build something like this. AMD Ryzen, it works really well, especially when you go with last gen. Right now, it is dirt cheap. So I've even seen, what was that? Prime Day. Prime Day, we had the 2700 going for $150. So that is a thing. If you want to step up to the 8-core, 16-thread parts, you could totally do that. This motherboard should handle just about everything. As long as you have a little bit of airflow, it'll work out great. And the build is really easy. So a lot of times I'll build it on PC Part Picker here and then just go to Amazon and build it there. Otherwise, and I just make sure that I have all the components: CPU, motherboard, memory, storage, video card, case, and power supply is all that you really need to get started. Anyway, that's it from me. Hit that like button, subscribe if you'd like, and I'll see you next time.